So I have on one side of my screen the instructions that I've copy pasted into Microsoft Word. And on the right-hand side, here's your D2L. And the way to get into your project, you could, again, go into Course Home. And on the content browser here, you have Unit 2, and the Excel are here. So chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then the capstone. So I'm demonstrating chapter 3, and I'm doing, this one should be done prior to, the first one should be done prior, because that actually takes you through the textbook and it gives you let me try exercises. But this is the actual working in Excel directly. So this is how we click on the assignment. I go in as Submit Student, and it brings me into the screen where I can download. So number one, I could let you know that instead of copying these directions into Microsoft Word, if you don't want to do that, you could just work with the directions here. And you could also download them with this button and make it a PDF and put it on your desktop. But sometimes the PDF you can't zoom it, so that's why I don't usually do that. But you can zoom this, and this is the same screen that you're in to upload it later. Now the start files here, the solution, and you can use File Download Wizard. And I usually do the File Download Wizard, but if you ever see a button next to Start File called Resources, you really have to click on that separately. That's usually an extra picture or an extra file that needs to be included that does not come down with the File Download Wizard. So I'm going to use the File Download Wizard in this case, and then I get these files from I'll just straight open up the one that I need and bring that over so that you can see my Excel screen. Okay, so we have by the way, when you download from the internet, it sometimes warns you, and if you know it's from a reliable source, you hit Enable Editing. Reason being is there could be viruses embedded in the files. So on the left-hand side, my instructions say, open up a Classic Garden. So here's my file. My Excel file is here, and it wants me to use I'm assuming they want me to stay on the tab that I'm currently active on, which is called Gross Margins. So I'm going to use the Quick Analysis tool for a clustered column chart object for cells A4 to G9. So I select A4 to G9, so click and drag of the right mouse. And then you simply go to the Quick Analysis button, which is exactly what the red highlighter is pointing at right now. It allows you to do formatting, charts, totals, like formulas, making tables, and start lines, which we'll cover in this chapter, I believe. Or it was covered already in one of the chapters. So the charts, they want cluster column chart, and I'm just going to click it. There it is. Move the chart object, step 3, so that its top left corner is A12, and size it until H30. So when you're moving a chart, make sure you see a tooltip that says chart area. It's when you're in a blank white area. You don't want to click any of these other objects, just the chart area, and let go at A12. So try to line it up in the corner of A12, and then I'm going to make it bigger. So sizing handles are here. I've got to go to H30, so I'll go down to 30 and over to H, or over to H and down to 30, and then let go. Now, precise measurements would be pressing, I believe, the Alt as you click and drag, and then it'll snap in, but I don't think we need that for this textbook. Now, the chart title displaying the words on one line and then in another line. I'm not going to type in the box that says chart title. I'm going up into my formula bar because I had first done it with the chart title on the actual cluster column chart, and I did not need to press Alt Enter, but it came out wrong, or I actually just hit the Enter key, but that was in this text box, but it wasn't in the formula bar, and I got it marked wrong. So this time I'm doing it with the formula bar. I'm just typing in, and you'll see that the words are in red here. So they're telling me what we want to do. Now on the second line, they first want us to do Alt Enter, and it looks like everything else disappeared, but you still have it. You can make this bigger. You can see how it just went on the second line. By department. All right, now I'm done with that. So I can just hit the Enter key, which I actually want to go back and make the word department capitalized as well. All right, yeah, you just want to be specific. So my next step is to, our normal size. I need to have chart style 14. So when your chart is selected, you have two tabs at the top. And if I maximize, you can actually see the special tabs that come up. There's a chart design and a format tab, which are all because you're selected on the chart. So anything you need to do with chart design or format, you have to be on the chart somewhere to do it. If I'm not in the chart, if I clicked away, I will not have those tabs. So make sure that you have the correct toolbars to go to get the work done for this assignment when it's asking you to do something for changing the chart. Here's the format tab that I went into, and that's going to help me to find the chart style 14 for this chart. So chart style 14, no, it's actually under chart design. So chart style 14 probably will be one of these last ones. Okay, so there's your style 14. Step 6, a 1-point black text 1 outline to the chart area. So making sure you're selected on the chart area. By the way, you can always go to the format tab to see what you're selected on. If you're not sure what object you're selected on, this verifies it for you on that format tab in the upper left corner. The chart design, I'm going to look at, actually, I'm not going to be here. I'm going to stay on format because with the chart area selected, I want to find out how I can put an outline around it. So here's your shape outline. And the first thing I want to make sure I do, because I missed it on the first time that I tried this, was you have to change the rate because it does say a 1 point. All right, so 1 point and then find the black text 1 for that. So the color is right here. It's the black text 1. Perfect. So it's in the second column. All right, now this next step, display the primary minor horizontal axis grids. So what I have here is the horizontal major, but it wants the horizontal minor. So to find that, I'm going to go to chart design, and I find that going to the chart elements, and then it kind of says it in parentheses here, you want to go into grid lines. And so now they want primary minor, because primary major is already there. They want the minor, it's just more specific. And the actual major value axis grids have to be black text 1. So I'm going to select primary, let's see, I'll just select the lines. That's the plot area. That's not what we want. We want the line. That's the major vertical one. So I can see vertical axis major grid lines. That has to be black text 1. So let's see what color they are. Under the format tab, the actual line itself, we want the black text 1. In this case, though, it didn't say to make it a 1 point, so I didn't. I just made it black text 1. Does not want the minor ones done, so you can kind of see them gray colored. The next step, step 8, resize the data range to remove the design consulting, which is row 9. So we have to change the selection of the data. So we do that on the chart design, and you'll see a button called select data. Okay, so select data, and that's going to allow me to remove the design consulting. I could do it a couple different ways. I could just change the G9 to G8, because that'll ignore G9. I could also remove design consulting like that. Let's try it that way. I did, and it ended up working, okay? So now it ended up just getting the G8, or you could have just reselected the A4 to G8. So any of those ways, and before I leave here though, let's see if they want me to do anything else here. Right, so you do see, if you move away, you see that the item for design consultant is gone. That's what they wanted you to do, making sure to select only up to the fountains and irrigations September total, and that's it. So I'm just going to hit OK, and it worked. You can see. Now, step 9, select, okay, they want me to be on the break even sheet tab. So I'm going to click on this first worksheet, which is break even. And what they're doing in steps 10A, B, and C is they just want you to take a look at the formulas that have already been done to give an example of something called break even point. So if I click in A1, that's just to start out, but they wanted me to click on B8 to see how they calculated the per unit margin profit. And that is calculated by subtracting variable cost from sales price. So that's why it took B5 and subtracted B6. Okay, so that's done already. And then in B10, they want me to click B10, and then the formula divides the fixed cost, which was a constant number, 15,000 fixed costs for department. So it's taking the B7 and it's actually dividing the sales price minus the variable cost. So it's pretty much the same thing that we had put in this cell. We had the minus B5, B6, and now for here, it's taking that B5, B6 and dividing it into the fixed cost to get the total for the break-even point. So, by the way, the word round just means it rounds it to 0 decimals. That's what that second argument does. Now, they just wanted us to take a look at those, and now they want us to review the references and formulas in row 15 so we can build a table for the chart and copy the formulas to row 24. So here's the fixed cost is just a reference to cell B7. That's why the 15,000 comes in. Total variable cost is an absolute reference of B6 because that's always where the assigned variable cost is going to be when we're going to be dragging these down to copy with our fill handle. But it's taking B15 and then it's going to move B15 at relative reference to each of these depending on the number of units sold. Total cost is adding up the fixed cost and the variable cost, and then your dollar sales would be the sales price in an absolute reference times B15 at a relative reference, so it'll just end up taking the number sold by the dollar sales. So those numbers are absolute, and that's why in a moment we're going to change it so that we have a break-even point that's even. So that actually they'll intersect when we create the line chart. And the profit is just taking your total cost and subtracting your, or taking your dollar sales and subtracting your total cost. Super. Now it says, sure enough, it wants us to, on step 10B, select B5 and change the sales price. So we're going to change it to 200. Oops. I hit escape because I was doing it incorrectly. I didn't click first on B5. So B5, 200, enter, and it shows me that the break-even point is also 200, the level at which profits covers all costs. Okay, profits will cover all costs. So these are all equal. Now, after we do that, then we're going to make a chart. So we're going to create a line chart. Step 11A, we have to select B14 do that though. I think I may need to fill it. Review the reference and formulas in row 15 to build a table for the cart and copy the formulas to row 24. So there was one more step for me to do. I'm actually going to hit no. Yeah, I'm going to undo so that first I can actually do the selection of B14. Copy the formulas. Okay, so the formulas that are in row 15, I'm just going to take these and copy the move fill handle. That's what we needed to do for step 10C. Then I'm going to go back to B5 and put 200 in there. And press enter, and that's showing us this first break even. Break even here. That's the 200 that we just put in. The 200 break even point is 200, and that's when our profits and expenses are the same. All right, now that we have full data filled in, I can select B14 to C14, step 11A. So B14 to C24. And then at the same time, I want E14 to F24. So I have to hit the Control key before I select E14 to F24. And a 2D line chart with markers. So instead of using, this is actually the first time I'll use this method, and it's under Insert. So Insert, and it wants a line chart. So I'm going to do a 2D line chart, but it's said with markers. So you have to find the little tooltip that says line with markers. So there you have the chart, and I will restore this back so that you can see it did say 2D line chart with markers for each line. Now I want to position the chart. So I'm going to move the chart object to start at A26 through H45. So again, taking the four-sided arrow on the chart area, not any other object. So this is what moves the whole thing. We need it to be on A26 through H. By the way, I'm using my down arrow on my keyboard because sometimes that makes it a little easier to size it perfectly. A26 to H45. So I go down to 45 while I'm going over the H, and I let go when I get into the bottom of that. So pretty good. Okay. Now edit the source data. So we want to select, the reason why we're going to do this is because we're going to deselect this line that's straight across. All right. We're not going to have that selected. So let's look at how to do that. It says click the select data button, which is on the chart design on the ribbon tab, and then edit in the horizontal category, which is right over on the right hand side. You see how it just says 1, 2, 3, 4. We actually want some data to be in there. So we're going to override what they picked for the category labels. We want to select B15. So B15 to B24. And so I go to edit for the horizontal, and I select